Welcome to Live from My Drum Room. My guest is legendary drummer, singer, songwriter, author, and educator, Carmine Appice. Carmine's incredible career spans over 60 years. His groundbreaking drumming with Vanilla Fudge, Cactus, Beck, Bogert, and Appice, Rod Stewart, and Blue Murder, to name just a few, has influenced generations of drummers. His best-selling drum method book, Realistic Rock, was originally published in 1972. The updated version, Classic Realistic Rock, has been re-released by Hudson Music with a limited number of signed copies available in mid-February. It's available at hudsonmusic.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes. So come along for the ride for a really, really great show. And please welcome the legendary Carmine Appice. All right.
How you doing? I got some sticks now, too.
All right, good. You're right at home with sticks in your hand.
Sticks in the hand, Vic Firth sticks, yep.
Thanks for being here, Carmine. It's great to see you. Got a lot of folks watching at home, and I know we don't have a lot of time, so we'll get right down to it.
Okay.
Let's talk about, we're going to sort of fast forward a little bit. You and I were talking offline about how you started, at a really young age, but if you don't mind, I'd like to sort of jump ahead to Vanilla Fudge. Really was your first big break?
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere you auditioned for the band because they wanted a singing drummer.
Well, I was playing a gig with an R&B band, and they came to the show, and the gig, 4 nights a week, 4 sets a night. And Tim Bogert and Mark Stein sat at the bar, and they're looking at me playing. I came over and they said, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Mark. I'm Tim. We have a group called the Pigeons. And
right.
We have a manager that's backing us, and ended up being a mafia guy, which is pretty wild. If you saw Goodfellas, that was all our people. Henry
Wow.
Hill used to come to my house and say, "Hey, guy, you want to buy some stuff? It just fell off a truck." I bought tape machines, all that. But anyway, so I was doing good back then. I was making like $250, $300 a week in 1966. Which is decent money. I had a brand new 64 Chevy, so 4-speed 327, So they said we need a drummer that has a really good right foot that could sing, that's funky and soulful. I said, yeah, but I got a good band here. They said, yeah, but we're going to try and make it. Up to that point, I never really thought about making it. I used to play gigs with Jimi Hendrix when he was Jimmy James. And we'd smoke pot together, and he would talk about making it. And I said, I don't really care if I make it. I just want to make a living like my drum teacher. He was making $1,000 a week in 1966, which is good money. He had a house, had a Cadillac, had a drum room like you got there, And I never even thought about making it big until these guys. And then I said, I'll come out and check you out. Now, up to that point, I never played with a bass player. All my bands had left-hand bass.
Okay.
Or on a B3 or on a Farfisa,
Yeah.
And when I went out and played with these guys, it was amazing. I mean, we all sang good together because I sang in doo-wop stuff when I was younger, and Mark Stein sang doo-wop too, And then Mark taught those guys how to do the vibrato that we both had.
Yeah.
So all our singing was like gelled really well. And me and Tim, as a bass player and drummer, man, it was amazing.
Really amazing.
It was really amazing. I used to, at one point, I put a microphone inside my bass drum, and I had the wire come out of the hole and into his bass amp.
Wow.
And it was pretty amazing. So after thinking about it, I called it like my life-changing decision.
Yeah.
Going from the local band into the Pigeons, and we were out on Long Island. And there was a whole new thing going on in Long Island that this group called the Vagrants started, which spun off of the Rascals. And they used to do production numbers. They spread these long songs. And Leslie West was in the Vagrants, right? And there was another band called the Hassles, and Billy Joel was in the Hassles, and us. And we were the first ones to make it out of there. But we did You Keep Hanging On Like That.
Yeah.
And we noticed whenever we played gigs, people would trying to dance to our music, which was difficult. But whenever we played Hanging On, they all came up to the front of the stage and watched it because we were so, I don't know, animated, I guess you call it. Yeah. And I was trying, personally, I was trying to be Dino Danelli on steroids. Those days. Because Dino was a great player,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I just took what he was doing to one step up. And he had a 24-inch bass drum. I said, you know what? I got to get a bigger bass drum. So I found a $5 Leedy Ludwig bass drum in a pawn shop. SPAWN. Uh, and and I recovered it myself, Red Sparkle,
Yeah.
and that's what was on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Wow.
And it was sounded great,
Yeah.
and you know, it was loud, you know, because it
Yeah.
was loud, you know.
It's a
And
when
I
when
started
I
playing really hard before I joined the Fudge. I used to play like this, you know,
yeah.
play this, you know, like kind of like I am now. I learned to snap. Now I learned to snap the stick to get the volume. But back then, I just used to, and then when I joined the Fudge, I was just
Yeah.
total
Yeah.
animal, you know.
Well, I mean, because you grew up listening to Buddy and Gene, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they were big influences, and I could see that your playing was maybe a little more restrained as a you know
yeah. Well, I mean, for me, Buddy, Gene, Max Roach, and Joe Morello were my main guys.
yeah
But I liked Louis Bellson because he had two bass drums,
yeah yeah
you know. But for me, the two bass drums didn't work. And number one, I couldn't afford it. And number two, I sang.
yeah
I couldn't put a microphone
yeah of course
on the other
yeah.
side of the bass drum. They didn't really have boom mics yet, you know.
Wow. Well,
So
talking about that Ludwig bass drum, that you answered a question I had because we were talking earlier about the drum set that's on the Ed Sullivan Show. I'm going to show that in just a second, and I assumed it was a 24 because it looks so big, but that makes even more sense. That was a
it's 20,
26
26 by 15.
by 15.
Yeah, there's an
Okay.
old Leedy Ludwig, you know, marching bass drum.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Yeah.
bought it and I covered it and I used those felt things on the back head, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like they used to do back then. And and I learned something from Dino Danelli I still have. If you look at my kit here behind me,
Yeah.
I do it. I instead of having like a pillow or something, I have newspaper ripped up,
Ah.
put inside the bass drum. Because I saw Dino open up for Gene Krupa at the Metropole in New York. And he was young, I was young. I wasn't even old enough to get in. I used my older brother's draft card. And when he was playing, he was going boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, boom, bap, boom, when the bass drum sounded ridiculous. So he came off the stage and I was talking to him, you know, and I said, how'd you get the bass drums to sound so good? And no hole in nothing, none of that hole
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And he said, I varnished the inside, I seal up all the holes, the pores, and then I rip up newspaper and put it in there stacked about that high. I said, really? So I went home and tried it. It worked.
What a sound. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
worked. It worked. It was killer. And then when I was with Ludwig later, I told him about that. I said, why do you have everything? Why are you set up like that? When I was ordering my drums, the first kit from them, I told him I want the inside varnished. I use newspaper. Why do you do that? I told him. So from then on, they always did something on the inside of the Ludwig bass drums. Originally, my kit was varnished, you know, and then after that, they started doing other finishes on the inside. I worked
Yeah.
really close with them back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, I know you did. And I'm going to get to that in a second. I'm going to just play a second. While we were talking about Ed Sullivan, I just thought I'd play a little bit of this clip. This is 1968. In fact, I looked it up the other day. In fact, Carmine, it's January.
January,
So, yeah, January 1968. So you were just 21 years old, right? I mean,
not even.
yeah, okay. You were I mean, and you
Was
joined
I
the
was
band
I January when I was 60? Yeah, she's 21 years old.
just 21, but you joined the band as a teenager, 19
Well, no,
or
I
maybe
joined the
20.
band 6 months before, 8 months before that.
You
Because
did.
I
Okay.
always say to them, see, I joined you and you guys made it. They used to bust their balls. You know, but funny thing about that show is we were getting dressed upstairs and I'm coming down in the elevator. They didn't have elevator push buttons, it was operators. There was
Yeah.
a black dude. He said, hey, man, how many people watch this show? He goes, oh, about 50 million. And my stomach went, boom, man, you know, anxiety set in. until I got on the drums, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. 50 million.
And I
There's
still
all,
got the red jacket.
all right. Good, good, good. Well, we're going to see that in 1 second. This is so, so great, man. I'm so glad this exists out there, and this is, I mean, you're a part of the fabric for so many of us drummers, and
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. I mean, in one form or another, whether it's this band or Cactus or, all these bands you played with. But let's play a couple minutes of "You Keep Me Hanging On" from
Cool.
Ed Sullivan.
Set me free, I told you, babe. Get out my life, I told you, babe. You really don't want me. Just keep me hanging on. You really don't leave me. Just keep me hanging on. Now you said when we broke up, you just wanna be friends. But how can we still be friends if seeing you only break my heart again? There ain't nothing I can do about it. You know I
Man, amazing. The singles were ridiculous.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah. real fast. I mean, what's so cool to watch that I've watched it a bunch of times since I downloaded it the other day is, you're playing with so much power and velocity in certain places, but it's also really dynamic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just, you're not just bashing the whole time.
No.
It's coming down, it's going back up again. It's a real
That's from
lesson.
taking the lessons. I had control. But the great thing about that cymbal grab,
Yeah.
usually guys would hit the cymbal and they go, shh,
Yeah.
with their finger. When you do it with the arm, dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shh. So Vanilla Fudge, we use that a lot in a lot
Yeah.
of my dynamics, and I've taken that to all the different bands, and it really worked. And if you notice, it's 1968, right? I've been doing it before. I hold the stick like this,
Yeah. Yeah. I did.
because the reason why I used to play like this, and then I want to twirl, I have to put it in my finger, So I said, wow, this is cool. I could just keep it here and twirl whenever I want,
Got
A
it.
lot of
Okay.
guys had to stop playing to twirl,
Right. Right.
and this way I twirl that way. In the left hand, you twirl with just like a baton twirl, like that. So when I used to have two cymbals up there, I used to go like that and hit them like that or hit like that, it's always look good. And I came up with this grip that I can't play regular anymore.
Is that right? That's become your.
And it's weird because as I get older, I feel some arthritis here and here. And I've been practicing the stick control book with both hands like that
Yeah.
in case it gets really bad, But I didn't even know I did it. It wasn't like I sat down and said, oh, I'm going to do this. And, like a lot of guys do that, they sit down and figure something out. It just happened. The right hand, it just happened,
Yeah.
you know.
Had you started doing that before you joined Vanilla Fudge, or was that something you had like started doing?
I don't
Even
remember.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
wondered that
remember.
because that sort of became your signature with all the
Yeah.
other bands you played with too over
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
I don't remember if I did that with like I said, I didn't really become more animated until Vanilla Fudge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I held the stick in the hands like this, and I'd
Yeah.
be playing,
Yeah.
not even moving my body. I was so cool to just sit there and go, with the paradiddles like that, but not like none of this stuff,
Right.
That
Right.
became with the power I needed to compete with the amplifiers. And that went on to the next drum set, with Ludwig.
Yeah. How soon after that? It wasn't long after that you connected with
No.
Ludwig, right? Yeah.
That was January. By June, I had the new kit.
And was that first kit a blonde kit, a maple kit?
Blonde kit, two 26s, 26 by 14, a marching tenor drum in the middle,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, on a stand, and a 16 by 18 floor, and I had a 22 bass drum with metal rims as the big tom.
Mm.
And I had a gong that I got from Pasty.
Yeah. Similar to
Yeah.
this kit. This was.
Yeah. No, not really. That has too many toms.
This was
That's
a
the
later.
secondary kit. That's the next kit. That was an
Yeah.
Octoplus. It's a whole story. I have the kit on my phone. You probably got it. Did you get a copy of the book?
I only have the digital. Rob sent me the digital download version of it.
Well, it's in there. There's a picture of me on the top and John Bonham on the bottom. Same kit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was a unique kit. It had two bass drums and one big tom in the middle. And they didn't know anything, what the hell it was. I had a concert snare, 6.5-inch concert snare. Everyone else used 3, 4, and 5-inch snare drums in those days. And I said, well, let's get the big snare. I was looking for bigger drums, bigger sounds to compete with the amplifiers.
Mm.
Right? And Ludwig people thought that the little tom in the front was a floor tom, so they put legs on it, leg holders. And if you look real close at it, you see leg holders on the drum.
Yeah. I have seen that picture. Yeah.
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 And then I had And they said, well, look, when you order the Ludwig drums, you get pastry cymbals. I didn't even know what pastry cymbals were. For me, it was always Zildjian, you know?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay. So I got pastry cymbals. And I go, what else? You need anything else? And I said, well, they got a gongs. I said, I'll take a gong because Vanilla Fudge was like a symphonic orchestra.
Yeah.
You know, I used the gong. I used a chime sometimes, kind of what Neil Peart did later on. You know, I had the timpani, had the gong, had tubular, like bell things, those tubular things. And it was an amazing sounding kit. But the problem is you had to really beat him. You should look up Vanilla Fudge and the Ed Sullivan Show, Shotgun.
Mm,
Do you
okay.
have that one?
I don't have that one.
Look it up while we're talking. That has the kit. That has that kit. And it also has the end of that song is very similar to the end of Rock and Roll, but done about 5 years before. You know, I could tell you a little story about that whole thing, but yeah, but that's the kid. That kid, you had to really, really hit them. Now, if you look at this video of me playing shotgun, you could see I'm like this. I mean, I'm raising my arm. In the end, I had 2 rotator cuff surgeries. So,
All right, I'm going to try to play this. I didn't download it, so let's see if I can play it here.
now see that? You can't hear
yeah.
it, but you
Yep.
see it. Look at the height of the sticks. Now we have clothes being made for us and all. The other one we had bought our clothes in England. These are all custom made clothes now. I'm wearing a red lace shirt. You could, if you want to, yeah, look at that. See, that's a beautiful kit. When I was playing, I remember when we did the Joey Bishop show, California, like I said, we always had the drums. I had those drums with me. You know, brought out on the rise and I'm looking at it, I'm really admiring them, thinking, man, those drums are cool. So this guy comes up to me, are those your drums? I go, yeah. He goes, wow, they're beautiful. I said, yeah, I know, they're beautiful. So he says, yeah, I play with the band. I live out here too. Here's my number. Call me. I play double bass, he says. He says, call me when you get a chance. You know, come out here. So I go in the dressing room, change my clothes, the thing falls out. It says Louis Bellson.
Oh, man.
I didn't even recognize him. I feel like an idiot. Then I went out and I grabbed him. I said, why'd you say you're a Louis Bellson? He said, nah, I don't like to push my weight around. What a beautiful man he was.
He sure was, man.
He was a beautiful man.
Yeah, I was blessed to call him my friend, and he was, you know, 1 in a million. Yeah, I know. You know what was great about Louis was he loved all drummers, you know, and you know, like he didn't look at it like some drummers might look at it like, well, you're a rock drummer, you know, you're not my kind of guy. He loved all great drummers. That was it, you know.
That's what they used to say about Buddy.
Yeah.
When I met Buddy, we had a consultation at first, and then I don't know if you got time to hear that.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so I was in the 80s, I was doing great. I was playing with Rod. I wrote Do You Think I'm Sexy? I wrote Young Turks, Things Are Happening.
Yeah.
I'm spokesperson for the Telson Sonics, and you know, I had my own bands, a lot of stuff going on. And I used to run these contests, you know, like the drum off. I started the drum off.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you knew that.
I didn't
Did you
know
know
that,
that?
but
I knew I started it. You know, I sound like a freaking egomaniac, you know, but I did things back in the days, and all I cared about, I wanted to be the Gene Krupa of drums, just bring the drums up front so people recognize drums. So the drum off to me was like a contest to promote the shows that I was going to do. And we did it with KLOS, the radio station. I had all these great drummers as my, you know, my judges and stuff. But anyway, so my manager knew the owner of the Starwood Club, and Buddy Rich was coming there. So my manager says, hey, why don't we have Carmine and Buddy do a drum battle? I said, come on, man. I said, you crazy? I'm not doing that. So it goes around anyway, it got canceled. So then me and my brother Vinny go see him, and I knew his daughter. So I knew his daughter, and we go see him, and she comes out. We were in the VIP section. Oh, Carmine, Vinny, I didn't think you'd come. I go, why? Because, man, my father's pissed off at you. I said, Buddy Rich is pissed off at me. I said, holy shit. So, I mean, can I say those kind of words on here?
Of course, yeah.
So I freaked out. I said, what the fuck, you know? Why is he mad at me? He said, well, you challenged him to a drum battle. I said, I didn't challenge him to no drum battle. I said, he's my idol. I didn't do that. He said, well, why don't you come backstage and talk to Buddy? I said, nope. I heard the bus tapes. I said, I'm not going back there. She goes, come on, it'll be all right. So I said, Vinny, you come with me. So I brought my brother with me. So I said, hey, Buddy, this is Carmine. He was going to do that drum thing with you. Oh, you mean that other kid like that other asshole, Ginger Baker, that keeps challenging me to drum battles, you know? I said, hold on. Nothing like that. So I told him the story. He said, is that it? I said, yeah, that's it. He goes, okay, you smoke? I said, no, I don't smoke. You smoke? I said, no, I don't smoke. But do you smoke? I said, what do you mean smoke? You mean like smoke pot? He says, yeah, I smoke some pot. He goes, good. And he reaches in his pocket and takes out a chocolate joint. He lights it, takes a hit, gives me a hit, gives my brother, and me and Vinny like freaking out. We're smoking a joint with Buddy Rich, you know?
Oh, man.
Then we became friends.
Yeah, yeah.
He did my drum off. And the deal was with the drum off, we had a big one, and Sonny Emery won the contest that when Bobby Rock was in it. Eric Singer was discovered there. Stephen Adler, all these guys were contestants in my drum off. And so Buddy came to my drum off in the afternoon. We had 10,000 people in the park, and KLOS's radio station pumping it. And the deal was, after we did that, Eyewitness News was there. Right, I got a proclamation, Carmine Appice Day in Los Angeles.
Yeah, yep.
Right, and then me and Buddy were going to take a helicopter ride with Eyewitness News to Disneyland where he was playing. Right, so he's in the front seat. I'm in the back with Eyewitness News and the pilot. So he turns around to Eyewitness News and all of a flying goes, "This is my buddy Carmine Appice. He's a great drummer. What do I know?" I sat in the back. I'm like, oh my God,
Oh man, I'd be like, I can die now,
Yeah.
Oh,
So then we became friends. When he got sick and when he had the tumor, I went to the hospital. And he told me a lot of crazy stuff. But one other quick story is I went to Australia a lot with Rod. So when I went there, I did a clinic tour with Fabian over there. Some people I knew said, "Hey, we just saw you on TV." I said, "What, with Rod?" He goes, "No, with the Muppets." I said, "The Muppets? What's the Muppets?" I never watched TV.
Yeah.
And they showed me the Muppets, Animal. I said, "Animal, that's you." I said, "That's me." I said, "Look at it, all the drums, the black hair, the curly hair, the crazy. That's you." I said, "Wow." So when I got back to LA, I said to my manager, I want to do a drum battle with Animal. And he goes, "Yeah, okay, so we'll, I forgot the producer's name who did that. So we called him up and we told him about it. And they said, indirectly, we think that your Animal is a persona, is my drummer, my manager said. And he showed him pictures of me in the video and said, yeah, it could be. But let's think about it. So they called back and they go, we got good news and bad news. What's the good news? We're going to use the idea. We're going to love the idea. What's the bad news? We're going to use Buddy Rich.
Oh, that's too funny.
Right. So then I called Buddy.
Yeah.
And I said, I heard you doing the Muppet Show. He goes, how do you know? I said, this is my idea to do it. I wanted to do it. He goes, you know what? I go, what? They wanted the best, he said to me.
Well,
I said, I can't argue with it.
Yeah. Indirectly, he had a drum battle with Animal.
That was because of me.
Because indirectly had a drum battle with you, except it was Animal. So
yeah. So, but it was great because he did a tremendous job. When I saw it, I said,
that's great. Yeah.
At least I'm glad it's him because he was great. He was the best.
You know what? I remember, Carmine, seeing a video. Someone had like a VHS sort of bootleg of you. And this is probably what you're talking about. It was in LA, and I feel like Michael DeRosier and Stan Lynch, right? And
no, that was our drum off tour.
Okay, all right.
We did a tour. It was sponsored by Sensonic Drums.
Okay,
you know.
Because I think at the finale was you and Buddy playing together. Not really so much of a battle, but you were both
No, yeah,
creating.
that was at the big one.
That was at the big one.
Right after
Okay.
that, then we went on tour with it. But that was at Mattel's and Sonics. They were like a sponsor of that.
I
And
see.
it was funny because, you have all the great drummers of the day. You had Michael DeRoche, my brother Vinny, Bruce Gary from the Knack,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Phil Earhart from Kansas. All these
Yeah.
great drummers. Even Shanana, what's his name? Jocko.
Yeah. 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 That's
And they're
right.
all
Yeah.
there, and they're all there. And I go, okay, so we're going to do the end now. We're going to do the finale. So who's going to follow Buddy? Vinny, you're fast. My brother, you're fast. No, I don't want to follow Buddy. Michael, come on, you could follow. I don't want to follow Buddy. After like 4 or 5 days, I said, "Oh, screw you guys. I'll follow Buddy. I got 2 bass drums, and
Right.
I followed Buddy.
Yeah. I've seen bits of that. It's really great. It's really,
So, I
really great.
mean, the drum off that we started, and then Guitar Center ripped me off for it. And they did it all over the place. And on the last one that I was at in LA, they wanted me to receive the Guitar Center Legend Award, which I got hanging up. And I said, I'm not going to do it unless you say that night to the audience that I started the drum offs. Because, a lot of people didn't know I started. I did 5 of them,
Yeah.
which set the precedence on what they were. And I used them as my preliminary, and they took my whole concept and put it in all their stores and did great with it. I mean, for my drum offs, Sonny Emery, Eric Singer, Bobby Rock, and then so many other ones. Like I said, Stephen Adler and a few other ones, came out of my drum offs in LA.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
took it on the road as a promotion. Like I said, I always wanted to bring drums out front, and that was my whole thing. I was crazy that way.
I know. Well, this is a good segue into because I remember you as being one of the early, certainly for rock drummers, early clinicians. I mean, there were guys doing clinics like Louis used to do stuff, as you know, in the 60s and 70s.
First one.
You were the first
Not
rock
only
drummer. Yeah.
first rock musician,
Yes.
period.
Musician. Yeah. Yep.
I realized that a few years ago because when I did that first one, 1971, at Sam
Wow.
Ash in Long Island, we had 800 people there,
Yeah.
and that's when I wrote the book after that.
I didn't realize it was. I thought you were doing them in like the late 70s, early 80s. I didn't know it went that far back.
1970, no, it's actually 72 because I just released the Realistic Rock book. That's a whole other story. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I'm going to just grab a water, okay?
Yeah. Go ahead. Con.
Yeah, so it was 1971. I was out on tour with Cactus, and that's when I wrote the Realistic Rock because I went into Sam Ash and I saw a drum book by Joel Rothman, Learn How to Play
Yeah.
Rock Drums. It was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen, and Joe, what was the one that said that? Joe Morello told me, he said, Joe Rothman has diarrhea of the pen. That's a great line. So anyway, so I saw that. I said, you know what? I'm going to write a drum book because, I was studied. I went to all the books. I went to all the classic books. I don't use it a lot, but it definitely made me a great player,
Yeah.
or so they say anyway. And so I was out with Cactus every night. We would destroy hotel rooms, party with chicks. I mean, it was rock and roll on the road
It was
back then.
rock and roll back then.
We were
Yeah.
creating what everyone talked about.
Yeah.
All of us, all the bands then. So I said, you know what, I'm going to sit down. Instead of doing that, I'm going to write every night. Because there was no TV. You come home from a gig, you're wired. If you don't have a chick to
Yeah.
party with or parties or you start wrecking rooms and stuff, the energy's up to yin yang. There's no TV, nothing to watch. So I sat down every night and I wrote a little bit, and I came up with the book. I called it Realistic Rock because I wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm realistic. This is rock. So I got a deal. I'll never forget it. My lawyer, we had a lawyer that managed. He was a lawyer for Zeppelin, for Vanilla Fudge, for the Rascals, Jimi Hendrix, and he had everybody. He said, well, I got your deal. It's $500 advance, but you own the copyright. I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah. Wow, though. What a huge, yeah.
I didn't even know what that meant. So then I told Ludwig, and they said, oh, you're coming out with a book. let's do clinics. They tried to get me to do clinics in 1968 with Vanilla Fudge. I was too big of a pop star, you know.
Hmm.
I said, no, no, no. And now they said, you got a book. We'll take, I don't know, 1,000 a year, and we'll do clinics, and we'll make the book sell, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So we did the first one, and I had Richie Ash playing guitar. I always had my clinics musicians play with me. And we had 800 people. I said, wow, this is cool. So next thing you know, Ludwig's doing a lot of clinics.
Yeah.
And nobody else. I had the whole turf to myself. There's nobody.
That was the beginning. I know.
Yeah.
And that book really, I mean, I didn't study. I was self-taught, but I remember that book being the Bible, like for rock drummers. That was the one that everybody studied with. A friend of mine who is a former student of yours, Jim Kersey. Do you remember
Yeah,
that name?
I
Jim
remember that name.
Yeah, Jim in the 80s told me, I remember
Yeah.
him telling me that he was driving down from Western Mass to your house in Long Island at the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
and studying like on a Saturday with you. He would drive down or however he got there and
I had a
take a lesson with you.
studio. I owned two houses. One house I was living in, and I was going to sell it. And I said, I had a studio I was paying rent for, and I had the studio to teach. The Carmine Appice Drum Studio, a really good name, right? So I said, well, I might as well keep the house, and I run the studio out of the house. So I did. I kept the house. People come down. Some people came down from Seattle, and they'd stay for 5 days, and they had to take 2 lessons a day for 5 days.
Yeah.
Plus, we gave them a room to stay. It was like there's nothing like it anywhere. I tried to franchise it in Germany, and then the guy died. Then I had a guy in New York that was teaching for me. He started doing speed, and he screwed everything up. And I was with
Yeah.
BBA, and I was with BBA and everything. I said, you know what? Enough of it. I can't take this stuff. And I just quit the whole idea. But a lot of great drummers came out of Joe Franco went there, Bobby Rondinelli went there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then a few other ones that went to the school, And I did a lot of that crazy stuff back then that no rock drummers were doing back then.
Yeah. Again, groundbreaking. But separate from, playing in a band like Vanilla Fudge, you were doing things that became later just kind of what we're all, many of us sort of grew up being a part of with clinics and
Yeah.
drum education. I'm going to just show a quick, this is the original, I believe the original cover of the book, right?
No.
No, a second
No.
rendition. No, that's right. I've seen the original.
This is the original cover, which came from the original. What is the cover now is a painting that my girlfriend at the time did of me.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. This was the original cover.
That's the original cover. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Then on the back, it just says rock and roll. But that was the original. This is the one. This is like, it only has 60 pages. And now
Wow.
the new one has like 90 pages or more. But we got a lot of this stuff in there.
That's great.
And, they changed it a little bit, and then, what happened with, you had that cover you just showed?
Yeah.
That was the Ludwig kit. And that was the cover for a long time.
Well, talking about, I'm going to move on because I want to play a few more songs from different bands that you've played in and worked in, Cactus being the next one. And my understanding is that you and Tim left Vanilla Fudge and the band basically sort of broke up at that point, right?
Yeah.
When you and Tim
Yeah, it was
left.
like, we took Led Zeppelin on the first tour, and we became friends with them. And in the 60s was like, with the Rascals and a bunch of the bands, Deep Purple even, it was going to be organ-oriented music. But after that, it started becoming more guitar,
Mhm. Yeah.
And we had met Jeff Beck. Vinnie Martell was out we did a Coke commercial with Vanilla Fudge. And Vinny couldn't make it. So our lawyer, who handled Jeff Beck too, this guy that had everybody, Jeff Beck played a session for us on the Coke commercial, which is on YouTube also.
Yeah.
And it was great. And after we played with him, me and Tim said, wow, man. Because we loved Jeff's first album, that Truth album. And when he played with us, me and Jeff and Tim, we said, man, he loved playing with us and we loved playing with him. And we said, we got to do something one day, So we basically, it's always been the back of our head, you know?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
Coke commercial is either Vanilla Fudge with Jeff Beck or BBA with Mark Stein. And so Cactus was going to break up. The band was going to be me, Tim, Jeff Beck, and Rod Stewart. That was going to be the band. And
Yeah.
that lawyer was going to handle it because he handled Jeff Beck and he handled me and Tim. And then it like got crazy. Rod didn't want to work with Jeff because he felt he got ripped off. And then Jeff was getting ready to come over to meet with our lawyer and our managers, and he got in a bad car wreck. Right.
Right. Right.
So then we had quit Vanilla Fudge already, and we said, so what are we going to do now? You know? So Jeff said, it'll be 18 months till I'm recouped. So we said, we're not going to wait around 18 months. But, I mean, Jeff wasn't the big star he ended up with at the end of his life. He was as big as me and Tim, you
Mhm.
know? So we said, we're not going to wait around. So then we got Jim McCarty from the Detroit Wheels, who was underrated, who was an amazing player, and Rusty Day from the Amboy Dukes, and we put Cactus together. And we became more of a blues rock, Detroit, New York oriented, high energy rock band,
Yeah.
blues rock
Yeah.
band.
Well, let's play a little something from that. And before we do that, Carmen, I wanted to just ask you, we talked a little bit about the gear earlier, the Ludwig and the Paiste connection. And those first that first when you first got with Ludwig and Paiste, were you playing the 602s? Was that what the symbols that they provided at that time? Do you remember? Is that
I did play some of those, and I played the regular, just regular Paiste too.
I think the giant beats, is that what
I played giant beats.
Yeah.
I played
Yep.
602s. I loved pasties. I loved them. They were my
Yeah.
favorite symbol.
You had such a great I mean, you used to
But
have
you
a
know
great
why? They were in Switzerland. And the
Yeah.
time I needed something that took weeks to get it.
Yeah.
They had nobody here in
Yeah.
America. You know, I was with them 13 years.
Right.
You
I
know?
was going to say once Ludwig, the whole thing with Ludwig not distributing them, I know that became a problem getting
Yeah,
getting
and
stuff.
then, you know, when I got the gong, you know, I got the gong was on a little stand, and John Bonham, when he got my kit, he got the same gong.
Yeah.
But then since he lived in England, when they came out with that big stand, he got the big stand first because he lived in England.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it took me a couple of months to get the stand. And I finally got the big stand, you know. And then I got two gongs. I got a 38-inch that I use now on the road. Then I got the big monster 52-inch gong that is in a big giant anvil case that I used to use with all the big bands, you know, all the, you know, from probably BBA onward
Yeah.
to Blue Murder and beyond, probably into the 2000s. I used it.
Wow.
I actually
Yeah.
cracked it too.
But it still sounds okay, probably,
Yeah,
right?
they welded it. It looks like, you know, there's a weld,
Yeah.
but it still sounds great.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Don
And,
Bennett's trying to sell it for me.
well, I was going to ask you, I think I saw some of your old giant beats at one point were up for sale. Do you still have any of that stuff? The original?
No.
No.
I had
Probably
a locker so full of stuff that there's some guys are collectibles, like Todd Zuckerman. He's got all the snare drums piled up
Yeah.
nicely. I never did that, you know. I mean, I got drums in my closet here, you know. I got the drums I have here is like a mutt. You got two 1971 Cactus bass drums with D drum toms and a 2004 Radio King snare drum, you know. But they sound great. But I don't like to have a million. I got a 1924 Ludwig Black Beauty. I paid $5 in the pawn shop too, you know. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I don't like display them, you know. I like to play the drums. So all these drums were sitting in lockers. I sold them all. I sold it all to Don Bennett.
Yeah. He's the guy to do that with.
And
Absolutely.
you know when I got back last year, September, we went up with my Rod show. We went to Seattle. Now those drums, I sold him, that kid that's on the cover, he sold to Modern Drummer.
Ah.
It was in their museum for a while. And he just bought it back. So when I went up there, he said, "You know, I just got your drums back." I said, "No kidding." I said, "Are they playable?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Why don't I play them with the Rod show? These are the drums I played with Rod." It was so cool. So we
Yeah.
played them. Snare drum sounded so good. I said, "Dude, you got to give me the snare drum back." And he did.
Yeah,
I love him, man. He's a great guy.
he's a
But you
great
know what
guy.
else is funny? We designed this, me and Ludwig designed this thing for the second bass drum. Because, you had to have a hi-hat anchor to hook the hi-hat to the bass drum.
Right.
Because you couldn't open the legs. The spread would be so ridiculous. So we came up with a thing. It was so simple, you know? Hooks onto the bass drum, had a thing that came out and hooked onto the hi-hat.
Yeah.
Now, you got to go to college to learn how to work these things. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know. I know what you're saying. Yes.
It was so simple and it worked so good and it was so easy to put on. And anyway,
Yeah.
so I got that back too. He gave me that and I had
That's
that back.
great. Way
So,
over engineered. I totally agree, Carmine. Some of the
totally.
stuff is it's crazy.
I
So
mean,
so the snare drum that you're talking about, was it a metal snare drum or a wood
yeah,
metal?
superphonic,
Super
5 inch,
6.5? A 5
5 inch.
inch. 5 inch, yeah.
You know what else we used to do? I used to bend the
Great drum.
cymbal and create like ding, 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 ding on the cymbal. A couple of times I did in the early days, it would pop out at the plug.
Yeah.
It would pop out. And I told Ludwig, we got to fix this. I mean, we can't have this happen. So then we said, well, why don't we do some other design? I said, let's make it fatter, let's make it thicker, heavier. He did. And they had a screw type thing that screwed in to the tilt,
Yeah.
right? And then you
Yeah.
put your washers and everything on. And then if it breaks, you just put a new one in, right? But it never broke because it was strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun doing all that stuff,
It's all practical, practical stuff from somebody who's a working drummer,
Yeah, you got a couple of really small cymbal stands, I see. What
Yeah,
is it?
I use all these. I get some vintage,
They're old.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
vintage
old.
stuff here, and that's the DW. It's newer, but it's meant to look like the old stuff,
Oh, yeah,
lighter.
yeah.
Yeah. But
I remember when
so
they came out with the 5,000 pedal. What a great pedal.
yeah,
It was the Camco pedal.
yeah, great pedal.
Mhm.
Love it.
And then
Um,
those two. Now you got the 9,000. You got to go to college.
yeah,
But
I know.
I love the 5,000. I played a single chain.
Yeah, I use a strap. I love
Mhm.
the the speed of a strap pedal.
Wow.
But the chain's great too. I have a couple of those, and well, I was asking about the Paiste Giant Beats because I remember you were one of the first guys to use those, and they're kind of
They're
like,
great.
yeah, and people I think don't realize. I'm when I hear some of these older recordings you made, it sounds like that's what you're using on those. That's why I was asking
I
about it,
am.
and yeah,
I used
great
them
sounding
all the
cymbals.
way through till 1982.
Yeah, yeah,
That's when I left Ludwig.
yeah, yeah.
And so then I went with Zildjian. I went to all the Zildjians. I ended up playing Amir,
I remember that. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and they were cheap,
And
but
they were a similar alloy to the same alloy as the Paiste, and
exactly,
yeah, yeah,
exactly. They
which
sounded good.
they did sound good. Yeah.
I played Sabians for years and years and years, and and I was the very first one to have a signature symbol on Sabian. We did that Carmine China.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah.
And that was all an accident. I did a clinic tour in Australia, and Dave
Oh, McAllister, Dave McAllister.
McAllister,
Yeah,
he went
yep.
on tour with me, and I
Good
would
guy.
be carrying around the Wuhan. And I said, "Why do you carry a Wuhan?" I said, "Man, nothing sounds like this." So he did the whole tour with me, and he started listening to it. He goes, "Yeah, you're right. It's pretty unique, you know." So he said, "When we come back to the States, come up to Canada, let's make one as
Wow.
your signature copy." I said, "Wow, okay." So we did, and they made it out of nickel or something. It was like not a brassy looking color. It was a different color symbol. It sounded great.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounded great, and that was the first one they ever did signature, and I got royalty on it. You know,
That's nice. Yeah,
yeah. It's like my stick, with the tip on the end.
yeah, yeah.
Why do I have that? So I never play like this. It gives me a little bit of a tip, and that was a Collado, and they wouldn't give me a royalty on it. So we went to Vic. I've been with Vic since 1989.
Yeah.
Same stick. But when you play a stick with that tip, it's a freaking thicker sound.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Much
would
thicker
imagine. So.
sound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
but the
big
tip
sound with
gives a
that.
little bounce, you know.
Yeah. Well, I told you this story offline, but I'm going to just tell it for people watching that when I saw you play in the next town over where I live now, I used to live in the town of Scituate, Massachusetts, and you played with Vanilla Fudge, and I believe the year was 2011. I thought it was more recent, but you were playing a kit that was provided drum set du jour, and
Yeah,
it was a
rental.
rental kit, and I remembered you were struggling just like trying to just get the angles right, and in between songs you'd like take a second and adjust it, and then you'd play the song, and I talked to you afterward, and you played great. You killed it. You would have never known. And I said, man, you sounded great. And you went, man, like, very sort of matter of fact, like, man, these drums were really hard to deal with. I said, I know, I could tell.
And you know what's weird about that? If you played those drums, it would sound different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, here's an example. If you go to my Facebook, there's a thing on there that me and my brother did on VH1, that metal show. Every commercial, they let us play drums to go out. So we both played the same kit. So I played 4 times. And then I think on Vinny's site and Vinny's Facebook, he's got him. Same drum set, same mic, same everything. You know, me playing that kit, him playing it. We play similar, but the drums sound so different.
Yeah. Yep.
I never realized that much until recently when I looked at that.
It really, yeah, I've seen that exact situation that you're talking about where 2 different drummers play the same kit, and it really does sound different. You know, the touch, everything. Yeah.
Okay, so you're back to Cactus.
Yeah. So back to Cactus. I'm going to play Parchment Farm, rather. Sorry. And we'll play a little bit of that. And then we're just going to sort of work our way through a couple more tunes.
That has a lot of history, that song.
Yeah. Should we play it now and we'll come back and talk about it a little bit?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Drummers play this.
Be down there for the rest of my life. Be down there for the rest of my life. Whatever I did was pour my life out. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
man.
was the fastest double bass drum thing at the time. And at one point, I saw a modern drummer that said that Billy Cobham's Stratus was the first one to do that. But this was 3 years before that.
Yeah.
And this was the template for Hot for Teacher.
Yes. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Alice is a friend of mine, and Eddie, they loved Cactus. I got tapes of them playing Cactus songs before they made it. And they said they wanted to do Hot for Teacher was like that. It's like a combination of me and Billy stuff, and mostly this. But Tim was like a freaking animal. I mean,
Yeah.
he was like part of my bass drums.
You guys had such a great connection, and I know we lost him a few years ago,
Yeah,
but he had to be like a brother to you, just
he was. He was.
yeah.
Billy Sheehan, that was his biggest idol. And last year we did an album called Temple of Blues, Influences and Friends of Cactus. And I got all these different people that were influenced by Cactus on there. I mean, I did Joe Bonamonte's podcast, and he said, "Man, Parchment Farm blew me away when I heard it." I said, "Well, we're doing a new version. I'd love for you to play on it." So he said, "Okay." So he couldn't go back on it. So he
Oh,
played on it. So we got
that's
me,
great.
him, Billy Sheehan
Oh
playing
my
bass.
God.
And Billy did that thing at the end. Doo-doo-doo. Tim
Yeah.
did.
Oh, I got to check that out. That's
And
so
that's
great.
really cool. And that album broke into Billboard charts, blues charts, at #3. I couldn't believe it. We're doing another one now that's being released at the end of March, the Temple of Blues 2. And on that other album, we had Ted Nugent, Dee Snider. We had all kinds of people on. Same one here. We got Dee Snider, Ted Nugent, Alex Soltnick, Jolyn Turner, Steve Morse, Tony Franklin, Billy Sheehan. It's all again.
Yeah.
And this time we're doing a big charity event at the end of March at the Arcada Theater in St. Charles, Illinois. And we're doing it for Tunnels to Towers. I have a friend of mine, Tim Ryan, who's got his parents and his family has a foundation. So he's given us a bunch of money to produce this show that's going to be like the album. Ted Nugent, Dee Snider, Tony Franklin, Billy Sheehan, Eric Gales, who just won a Grammy.
Yeah.
He's on this new album. Man, it is a monster.
Wow.
Billy Sheehan, me, him as a trio kills.
It's amazing
Anyway,
how.
I love Cactus.
Yeah.
Cactus was. We used to draw people. I mean, we run around and we do 5,000 people in every city.
Yeah.
We never had a hit single, but it's really an underground thing. I mean, when
Right.
Eddie Van Halen, I told him we were doing Vanilla Fudge, he goes, "Screw Vanilla Fudge, put Cactus back together."
That's
And
cool.
and now it is. McCarty's kind of retired, and Tim died, and Rusty died. So I'm keeping the flame going.
Yeah.
But
That's-
I'm not just trying to do it with the band members. I'm trying to really make something different out of it.
Yeah. And Vanilla Fudge is still going too, right? I mean, you have that.
Yeah.
You guys are out
We
playing
had
still.
3 or 4 other members still.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I was
It's
just
good.
going
I
to say.
do a little
it's-
of the Rod Show, a little Vanilla Fudge, a little Cactus.
Yeah.
And it keeps me going.
You guys, I mean, were such a huge influence, as you said. Without we sound like a couple of old guys, but back then you didn't need to have a hit single because it was like you say, an underground thing that
Yeah.
that people came out for the music. It was
Yeah.
that's what drew the crowds. They wanted to hear
Yeah.
great musicians.
Not like the Grammys last night. Oh my
Oh
God.
man,
I wouldn't
Oh.
even. I used
I
to
know,
belong
I
to
know.
that. I used to belong to that, and I
Yeah.
get the voting thing every year, and I look and I go, "Who are in? I don't know any of these people."
Yeah.
I just vote for. I like that name. I vote for that. And I said, "I'm not going to do this no more. It's just stupid." But there are a few artists that are great, but some of them are ridiculous. But anyway, but you know what? AI is taking over, which is ridiculous.
I know. That scares the shit out of me when
It's
you
scary. You know
see-
what? My wife put into this AI app on a phone. She wrote in lyrics about our dogs. She said, "I want a 70s funk version of that. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Kill a song.
Yeah.
Horns, keyboard
Wow.
solos, great singing, harmonies. Unbelievable."
Yeah.
And I did one with Rod Stewart. I did Hot Legs in there. I said, I want a heavy metal version of Hot Legs. It comes out and it's like 7 minutes long. It sounds like Van Halen. And I swear to God, at the end of it was a bunch of my drum fills.
Wow.
The stuff I was
Scary.
teaching
Yeah.
this stuff at the clinic since 1972. You know,
Wow.
it's really, really wild. Anyway,
So I know we kind of talked about this offline. I don't know if we talked about it during the show. I'm going to just jump backwards a second. And I know you had a great friendship with John Bonham and
yeah,
and just talking about when those guys were going back to Vanilla Fudge, when those guys were opening for you guys. You were the one that really kind of connected the dots for him to get hooked up with Ludwig, basically, and
I'm
Paiste.
even in the movie.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't expect that. I went to the movies. I said, wow, I'm on the big screen. Wow. Yeah, I mean, look, again, that lawyer had Led Zeppelin, right? So, it was like back then, it wasn't like everybody made records, everybody went on tour, everybody took each other on tour. It's not like, it's not even a business yet.
yeah, yeah,
And so we knew Jimmy Page. We toured with him when he was at the New Yardbirds he had. And then, know, our lawyer said, look, Jimmy's got a new band. It's called Led Zeppelin. We want to put him on some shows with you guys if that's cool. So here's the album. So we heard the album. We went, holy, I heard Bonzo. I heard the triplets. I said, whoa, man, this guy's freaking incredible. Wow. You know? And then I noticed a couple of fills on there that were mine, a couple of things that identified with me that nobody else really did. But I loved him. I thought he was awesome. So then we said, yeah, let's do Boo. So we knew the album.
yeah,
We
yeah.
knew the album. So the first date was December 28th in Denver. It was sold out. It was Vanilla Fudge and Spirit. We headlined Spirit, middle of the thing, and Led Zeppelin. Barry Fay, the owner, the promoter, didn't want them on the tour, on the gigs. He said, we're already sold out. We don't need them. Our agent's saying, that's only $1,500. No, we don't need them. So it ended up being Vanilla Fudge paid them $750, and the
Wow.
promoter paid $750, and we put them on the first gig. And then after that, we did a bunch of other gigs, and I got to know John. He was playing a little Ludwig, like Ringo kind of kit,
Yeah.
and I had these big monster drums, and he was saying, oh man, you think you can get me a kit like that? And I was pretty confident with myself with Ludwig because I was like, I was their main guinea pig, you know?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I think I could. So I called him up and I called him, I forgot who it was. Jim Surrey, I think the guy's name was. I said, listen, what Vanilla Fudge is touring with this group called Led Zeppelin, and this guy, John Bonham, he's really, really good. And I think he's going to be big. Understatement of what, 6 decades? And he wants a kit just like mine. He says, yeah, you really think they're going to be big? I said, I think they're going to be big. They're touring with us now, and the audiences, they're killing it. It's great. So on my word, they got him a kit,
Wow.
same kit.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they were already big as we were.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we did a summer tour. And in that summer tour, he had his drums, and I had my drums. So it was really funny because Randy Castillo,
Yeah.
he's a friend of mine. He was in the audience for one gig in Albuquerque for that. And he said, I found it really weird. I said, what? He goes, well, Led Zeppelin went on, then they took his drums off, and they put his drums back on. I said, no, those were my drums. So there must have been so many drummers and so many people back then thinking, why are they taking the drum set off and then
Yeah.
putting it back on?
Oh,
And
that's
we
great.
we were good friends. We were good friends. And he used to twirl his stick like me
Yeah.
and hit the cymbal and grab it like me and then look at me and laugh like, yeah, you know. But then like, time goes on with that stuff, before I tell you that, we used to go on like when I forget how many more times I think it was Robert and Jimmy would do this whole bow and vocal thing, and John Paul Jones and Bonzo would get off. And Bonzo says, why don't you and Tim go up instead of us? You know the song? Yeah, we know. So we went up instead of John and John. It was good fun. So I'm with Ozzy 40
Yeah.
years later. Motley
Yeah.
Crue's opening up. I see Tommy Lee spin this to hit it. They were nobody yet, they were opening
Yeah.
act. I said, hey man, that's pretty cool. Where'd you get that? He goes, I got it from John Bonham. I said, well, indirectly, you got it from me. He goes, no, dude. You know how they talk, no, dude.
No,
Got it from
dude. Yeah.
Bonzo, dude. I said, okay, tell you what, when we're done touring on this leg, go back to LA, come to my house. I want to show you some videos. So he came to my house. This is before he had money, comes in. I had a decent sized house, nice house. Goes, oh man, cool. What a cool crib. I got to get me a crib like this. He had no money then, He wasn't
Yeah.
married to
Yeah.
the movie stars. He was this guy off the streets of LA. So I showed him Hang It On.
Yeah. Yeah.
I showed him Shotgun. I said the shotgun, see the end of the shotgun? He says, yeah, it sounds like rock and roll. I said, this is like 5 years before rock and roll even came out. And he walked away going, dude, I can't believe it. He was like blown away. But it's funny because Bonzo used to look at me and do my thing and laugh, and I would do some of his and laugh, But then
Yeah.
it becomes like written in slate,
Yeah.
Funny.
Man. I know you're getting tight on time, Carmine. I won't keep you too much longer.
Okay.
I did
I'm
want to
good.
play.
I'm good for another 40 minutes,
Okay, great. Oh, fantastic, good. I did have a couple more songs I wanted to. I mean, we could go all day, and these stories are so great. I did want to play something that I found, which I know you know of, with you and Jeff Beck and
Tim.
Yeah, and Tim, and it's a live recording of Superstition from London in 1974.
Oh,
And
I mixed that.
you did. I was going to say, man, what a sound. Now, this is incredible that this is 52 years old, this recording. And it sounds so great. You sound so great on it. The whole band, obviously.
I'm singing. Not that
And
one, but I'm singing there's another one on that album called Satisfied.
Yes. Okay. So this is Tim singing. Well, your drum sound and your drumming is just fantastic.
Octopus.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured. Okay. Should we listen to a little bit of this?
Sure.
All right. So this is Beck, Bogert, Appice, or Appice.
Appice, 1974 at the London
Yeah.
Rainbow.
Were you calling yourself Appice at that time?
Yeah, I was Appice. I changed when I went with Rod Stewart because he said, look, we're going to play in front of 20,000 people every night. I'm going to do your solo. And I want to know what to call you. Carmine what? Because your name is Appice, it's Appice, it's Appice, it's Appice.
Yeah.
So I said, well, most people call me Appice. He goes, let's go with that. And I have the ad on my wall there. It says, everyone wants a piece of the piece by Ludwig.
I remember that ad. I totally remember that.
It went all over in every rock magazine in the world.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. That's because I remembered at the time, there was a time when you were Appice, which is how Vinny goes. Vinny goes by
then he
Appice.
screwed me up when he came out 4 years later with a Sabbath and then started all over again. I was good for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's play this. Here we go. Superstition. Is that you, Carmine, making that laughing sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's me.
Yeah.
I got a wah-wah snare drum.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great sound. Yeah.
And that's me doing the aid, all that stuff.
Man, talk about an ending. Talk about it. What a song. What an arrangement, man. Wow.
And that riff, Superstition, was written by Stevie Wonder for Jeff for playing on his talking book. And we had the demo, and then we redid the demo like that. And then Motown heard the demo and said, "This is a fucking number one. Let's release it." And they released it before our album came out.
Yeah.
Our album was supposed to be the first original way to hear that song.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's so much history.
What a story. Yeah. Because I know you guys recorded it not long after Stevie released it. So yeah, they were like,
well, because we were on the road playing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we went in the studio in December of 1972.
Wow.
So we were pissed when they released it. Because then when it came out, however, it's like a Vanilla Fudge and you keep hanging on kind of vibe.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? But yeah, and that bag thing, and Mike Panera from the Iron Butterfly, he gave me that to give to Jeff. Nobody else had it.
Yeah.
Mike used to use it. He passed away now. I gave it to Jeff from Mike, and Jeff did it. And after Jeff did it, everybody else did it.
was going to say it
At
was.
the beginning of that, I had a wah-wah snare drum. I still have it in my closet here. Now, when we were in Germany, we were on tour, and the sound guy says, "You need anything else? We're going out to dinner." I said, "Yeah, give me a wah-wah snare drum." I'm kidding. I came back and I had a wah-wah snare drum.
So what's a wah-wah snare drum? What it's
Well, it
was
goes like
it
it's like wah-wah.
okay.
If you listen to later on in that album, there's a drum solo on Jizz Whiz. Jizz Whiz. I started in those days. I started listening to Ma Vishnu and all that. Jeff didn't know any of that stuff, and I was listening. He got turned on to it. So we wrote a song called Jizz Whiz. It was in 13/8, then it went to 6/8, and then to 3/4. Then it went to a drum solo. And in the solo, I used the wah-wah a lot, you know. I use it a lot there too. But I still have it. I had Morley make up a proper wah-wah for me. I just haven't done it, use it lately. I might use it, start using it again. I like this unique stuff, you know, like
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
had the syndromes mounted into the 6 and 8 inch toms. When I
Yep.
did a solo, I hit the syndromes, right? And I had a frequency pedal. And I grabbed my China cymbal, like I'd hit it like when I go like this, the stick would come down and hit the drum. So it would go like wow, and then I hit the pedal and go wow, wow, wow. You know, people were like, "What the hell is that?" And
I'm
I did
sure,
in
yeah.
Japan. I did disappearing drum solos and ended up in the audience. I had a lot of fun. You know, again, bringing the attention to the drums like Krupa.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And the Gene Krupa
And
story movie was like,
yeah, yeah,
my God.
yeah. I know. I know. I was a little bit behind. I mean, Buddy was more of a hero to me because
Yeah.
I'm a little bit younger, but you know, I certainly know where Gene's fits in the history, you know, of
And
really
my
being
mother
the
used to
guy.
tell me that Brooklyn Fox, Brooklyn Paramount, they used to go see Gene Krupa, have him dance him in the aisles, you know.
Yeah.
And when I saw the Gene Krupa story, I had my first album. People, you know, I do interviews now, and people go, "So, what was your first album?" Expecting me to say the Beatles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, Krupa and Rich. Who? Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich. That was my first album. There was. And I couldn't believe it. In the front cover, there were two drum sets, and they had, you know, they overlapped the photos. So you see, like, Buddy's cymbal stand was in Krupa's bass drum. I couldn't understand what that, you know, that was all brand new back then, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I knew every note of that album. Every note. I mimicked every note on that album. You know,
Did you get to meet Gene at some point?
never met Gene. I
Yeah.
saw him play with Dino Danelli that day, but
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
met him. I never met Max. They were my four guys. You know, I think I told you, Max, Gene,
Yeah.
Joe Morello, and I got to be good friends with Joe Morello, really good
Yeah.
friends. And that was a funny the way we got introduced to Ludwig. He was Ludwig. He was doing a symposium, the Ludwig Symposiums, which are now really the rock fantasy camps. You know, I did one of my own in '81, you know, with a drum fantasy camp. But anyway, so I took my brother Vinny with me and my girlfriend that drew the album cover. Vinny was like 8 years old. And we're watching, I was going to replace Joe. It was 6 days. And I was replacing Joe. So I go see Joe. I never did a clinic before. This is before I really did the clinics. I mean, I did that one, but I never really did like symposium or anything like that, like a drum festival. So Joe sees me on the side. He comes over. Let's take some fours. I said, it's okay. It's okay. He does some more and comes back. Come on, we got to take some fours. People like it. My brother Vinny's pulling on my fucking pants. Excuse me. Go on, Carm. Go ahead. I said, you go play with Joe Morello. You know? So finally, between everybody, they persuaded me to go out there. So we did some fours. And that's when I realized that he can't do what I do.
Yeah.
I'm going, boom, get out, shook, 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 get up, and he tried to do it and couldn't do it. I said, wow, how cool is
Yeah.
that? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And then we became really good friends because we always did the symposiums, you know, the Ludwig symposiums together. He used to call me Apache. Hey, Apache, where are you? Because, you know, he couldn't see. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved him. He was such a beautiful man. And he
Yeah.
gave me good advice for a clinic. He said, play well, teach him, and make him laugh.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's what I did ever since the beginning.
That's great. That's great advice. That's
Yeah.
great advice. So moving on. So that was what we just played was 1974. And not long after, a couple of years later, you and Rod finally connect. You join Rod's band,
Yep.
76, right?
Yep.
And immediately I'm going to play a song from the first record you did, which was Footloose and Fancy Free.
Feel free.
You were talking about this, I think, or maybe I had read something where you'd said something about this, but again, great drum sound.
Yeah.
And
Andy Johns.
Andy Johns. Okay. Yeah. And I always kind of wanted to ask you this. So in this song, and I'm guessing this was the case really with all the time you played with Rod, but you kind of had free reign to just play what you wanted to play, right? It wasn't like
Yeah.
there was ever, yeah, of course. I mean, you're in the band.
He used to, on stage, he would be playing, he'd point to his teeth like this at some point. And I said, what the hell does that mean? He goes, too many fill-ins. Okay. Because I can, as you just heard Superstition, I mean, I can get, too much.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot from Rod, how to play a little behind the beat, how to play more for the song,
Yeah.
without the big arrangements like Vanilla Fudge or Cactus speed things, and I learned how to really lock that groove, that I
Yeah.
used to have with Vanilla Fudge, I always had it, but I never played with that thing. So with Hot Legs, everyone thought I wrote this song because the
Yeah.
drums are so prominent,
Yeah.
and
They really are. And I was going to just say, you made a great point too about your groove, and all these songs I know and and I hope people watching know this, that there were no click tracks, or at least I'm sure you didn't use them back then. This was you recording. There was no
just
fixing it.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know about Parchment Farm? I'm pretty sure it started out at 247 beats per minute, and it ended at 247 beats per minute.
Yeah, it sounds like it to me. Absolutely. It
Because I
never.
took the same exact tempo to do that Temple of Blues last year. And the way I record now, I mean, it's great. You can do what you're going to do, and I could tell you about that.
Okay.
in a
Yeah.
little while.
Well, this song has such a great groove, and you made a great point too, also about because your playing is different. When you, like you said, when you got with Rod, you were definitely more, I'd say, restrained, but also more, definitely more of an emphasis on the pocket.
Yes.
But still very free and very loose.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I learned a lot from Rod about image, about playing.
Yeah.
Like when I used to do a clinic, Rod went to one of my clinics. He goes, you know what? When you do this clinic, make it an event.
Yeah.
Don't just do a clinic, make it an event. And I took that seriously. I made my clinics events. I gave $50,000 from clinic monies to UNICEF. And I got a
That's
lot
great.
of press from that.
Yeah. That's
I
great.
did so many crazy things, I mean, in my life, I'm proud of it,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
I look back and I said, man, like I was never like, you get these things on the internet, the greatest drummers in rock, it's always guys that were with one band.
Yeah.
Like John Bonham or Neil Peart, or, what I mean? Guys say to me, well, how come you're not in it? I said, because I was never in one big giant band. I've always been experimenting. I did slam. I did a show like a slam. Slam was like, Blue Man Group kind of show, Stomp.
Yeah.
I did a show like that. I did so many crazy things in my life. I mean, we did a video it's on YouTube. It's called Slam Car. We did it for NASCAR, and it's just with garbage cans and trash cans and drums and a guitar, and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unique, different things. I wasn't locked into, like, imagine if I had to play Vanilla Fudge for 60 years. Oh my God.
I think you would have been okay, but I know what you're saying.
Any of it, I just had fun creating. When I studied drums, I played all kinds of music. When growing up, I played bar mitzvahs and jazz gigs and rock gigs and dances, and I wasn't locked into anything. And I guess I carried that on in my career. Where I played on Pink Floyd's record.
Yeah.
And then they called me, and I said, "Why are you calling me? We're screaming for Carmine drum fills." Okay, but I'm happy to do that. Play on different kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, you've definitely put your signature on a lot of different music. So yeah, let's play this. Let's play Hot Legs. This
Okay.
is great rocker. That's the superphonic snare.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Yeah, beautiful, man.
And that's Pacey's cymbal.
Yeah, beautiful cymbals too.
Andy Johns.
Yeah,
If you know it, I mean, just the grooves.
Yeah.
I mean, to get me just to do that, the drum sound was so freaking good.
yeah.
Great. The pattern is just repetition, but it's not like I don't play the same thing in every part, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to just say this too, Carmine. When I listen to this song, you sound like what you think of English drummers sounding like too.
Yeah.
Little behind the, yeah.
And that was the whole thing to try and learn too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to
it's-
slam the backbeat in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a different kind of feel. And those hi-hat things you're doing, those little light
Yeah.
barks, those little,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And the break was cool.
Yeah.
Get rid of that bap, you know?
Yeah.
Solid tempo though, no click.
Yeah. Solid. I love these fills coming up here.
Hey, this one.
Yeah. The signature crash, this,
Yeah.
at the end there. Yeah.
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 The I still have the problem of I never know what the fills I played on the record. When we started doing videos, like Do You Think I'm Sexy, the simplest fill at the end, it's got, I don't know, 500 million views on it now. I didn't know what the fill was. So you could tell I didn't know what the fill was. Even now, when I record in my studio, I try and write down the fills and I'm doing a video. And if I miss it, I do it the next time around so we can catch it.
Yeah.
But it's funny, because I never played the same.
Yeah.
I play that song every night now with my rod show. It's totally different now. Now we go boom boom da dum 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 boom boom ba dum 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 da boom boom. But it's all fun though. You know
Yeah.
what? I don't like just sitting on drums and just practicing anymore.
I hear you. Yeah.
At my
It's
age, I don't mind doing sessions. I do a lot of stuff for Cleopatra Records. I just do Deep Purple's Hush over.
oh
We
yeah.
did
Yeah.
tribute stuff, so I did it my way, and it's a lot of fun. So I got a killer drum sound going now. And on that other album you were talking about, Rod Stewart, there's a song called "Attractive Female Wanted," and it's kind of like a heavy rock reggae vibe. Really, really interesting drum part. You don't have
Mm.
to do it now, but you should listen to it. It's
I
very,
will
very,
listen to it. Yeah. Yeah.
very unique.
Yeah.
Because Phil Chen, the bass player, was from Jamaica, and he taught
Yeah.
me how to play reggae way before the Police were, famous and all that. And we were doing, we'd always say, hey, play it like this, and,
He
and
was
I,
great, man. Phil,
he was
Phil was,
awesome. He was
yeah.
awesome, yeah. He
You
was
guys were
awesome. God
such a
bless
great
him.
rhythm section in that band. I wanted to ask you, Carmine, do you remember on that song? I've always got the feeling just by your fills how fresh it is. That it was like a one take or a second take kind of thing that you probably didn't, played a
Probably,
million.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably one take, two take. We didn't go beyond that.
Yeah. Has
And
a
again,
very
playing so simple
spontaneous.
that in the cans, you listen to everybody, but you got this killer drum sound that
Yeah.
Andy
Yeah.
Johns has got. So you don't care how simple it is. The drum sounds so freaking good,
Yeah.
you know?
And you were
And
hearing that in your cans. You were hearing that big sound that we,
yeah, I was listening. I heard the drums in the cans. I don't do that no
yeah.
more, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm wearing hearing aids now. Yeah. Two rotator cuffs hearing, come on. I'm living in my 80th year now,
I know, man. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I enjoyed listening to your show with Steve Gadd and Jim Keltner,
Oh,
and,
thanks. Yeah.
and that
And
was
and
fun.
Rick
So I know
Marotta
them
too,
all.
who
Yeah,
says hello to you, by the way. I talked to
yeah.
Rick the other day and
Yes,
he
I
knew
know
we
them
were
all, and they're all great guys.
yeah.
Me and Jim played on that Pink Floyd record together.
Right. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
played on everything else. And what's his name was running around, the drummer, Nick was running around watching. I go, why aren't you playing? Oh, my calluses are soft. And then the producer said, we just want some new energy in the drums, I said, okay. But man, I was happy to play that song.
Yeah.
That song was awesome. But it's all good. All good.
Yeah. Well,
Are you going to listen to any Blue Murder on this?
I didn't have any Blue Murder queued up. I was going to play another Rod tune, but we can do that if you want.
Do Blue Murder. The song called Blue Murder.
Okay.
It's like a blues. This is one of the best. This was like in the 80s when everybody was like, confined bullshit playing. John Sykes, me, and Tony Franklin. It was just like BBA, just like Cactus. Nothing, we never played anything the same. And Sykes was an amazing guitar player and
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
And this song was great because, me and my brother Vinny, when we were listening to Cobb and going down, that kind of stuff, you know. So Cozy Powell was in this band first.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
didn't work out. But when I joined, John said, oh my God, this is like Cozy has 4 drum fills. You got so many drum fills. I said, I don't have drum fills. I just play. I don't know what comes out. So we had magic as soon as we played again. Tony Franklin was an amazing bass player. So they did the song. It went like dun dun chicka dun dun and da da da. So Cozy did a groove like boom boom, got boom boom, and then he had an overdub hi hat going ticka tick ticka tick ticka tick. I said, I'm going to do that all at once. So and then I came up with this intro. I'm not going to say nothing about it.
Okay. I'll
Just
play
listen
it.
to it. And the drum sound, Bob Rock did the drum sound
Yeah.
in Little Mountain. The drum sound is killer. Killer.
Well, I got to just quickly tell you, I saw you with Blue Murder.
Oh,
So you guys played with Billy Squire
that's
in
right.
Boston in 1989 or
89.
and Bobby Chenard, late great Bobby
Yeah,
was
I like Bobby.
God bless him. He was a friend of mine, and I went to see him because I just brought him on board to Zildjian, and you were playing with Blue Murder. I think I said a quick hello to you, but it was pre-gig
Maybe.
and you were
Had
in the
that big
zone.
drum set in the gong. and
Yeah.
everything,
And
There's a
and you guys,
premiere. I forgot about that. I played
yeah,
premiere.
that's right. You were playing Premiere, and
Yeah.
you
Tom
played the
Myers.
shit out of it.
Yeah, we
Tom
played-
is probably watching right now too. Tom watches all these shows.
Oh, good. Hey, Tom.
Yeah, hi to Tom Myers, our good friend. But yeah, you killed it. I meant to tell you that early on that I saw you play with Blue Murder, and
Blue Murder is one of my favorite bands. It was just the wrong timing. We had everything but a manager.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you would have bet me my house, I would have bet you my house that album was going to be triple platinum, and it didn't do nothing. It did great in Japan. We did big business in Japan.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, this song here was one of my favorite grooves
Okay. Blue
that I
Murder.
created. Yeah.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Give me the money, now reach for the sky. You better believe what I say. I'm gonna bleed you dry. Kudos more will keep you alive. Get down on the floor if you like to survive. They are screaming, "Blue murder." I'm scheming to survive. Blood running, they want me. Loud haters screaming, dead or alive.
Hey?
I'm rolling the money, I'm down on the floor, smashing the windows and kicking the doors. They'll take me alive, and that's all that I feel. They get me so close, but all I can hear is they are screaming, "Blue murder." I'm scheming to survive. Blood money, they want me. Loud haters screaming, "Dead or alive." The bullets are flying all over my head. I aim to escape and don't care.
Oh man.
right?
I that was killer. And I remember you guys being really, really loud, really great, really loud.
That song, I love the beginning. Go,
Yeah.
you expect it to go like, you know, and then it
Yeah.
goes to the cut time. You go, what was that? You know,
Yeah. Yeah. All three, and
great
the groove never budged. I
groove.
mean,
Yeah,
it was
and you know
just,
what's funny? We did that to a click. I punched in and out whenever I wanted to, and I really made every drum fill was different. Every drum fill on the album was different, you know. And the end there, when we did that live, and I had to go, boom, boom, and man, they're doing the blue murder. You know, I had to sit down and work out a five, four-way coordinate, a five-way coordination of playing that groove while
yeah.
singing.
Oh man. Yeah.
That was really difficult. I had to sit in my house and work and doom doom. That the moon doom murder doom 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 doom. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I loved that band. I loved that band. That was like one of my favorite bands. And I did so many fun things like my Guitar Zeus albums were me and Tony Franklin and another guy, Kelly Keelan, and all these great guitar players, Brian May and Slash and Ingrid Malmsteen. And it was kind of like Blue Murder meets Soundgarden meets the Beatles, and
Yeah.
it did really good around the world, everywhere but here. So we never released it here because grunge was king, you
Hmm.
know. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've been blessed. I had so many great projects that did well, that involved with so many great people, and like I said, but I wasn't in one
Right.
band.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorites, Terry Bozzio, man. I mean, Terry Bozzio with Missing Persons in that era, he was just
Ah,
unbelievable.
yeah. One of my absolute favorites. No doubt. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I remember doing a clinic with him, and I think he was going on before me or after me. He said, "Man, I'm nervous." I said, "What are you nervous with?" Man, I'm going on with you. I said, "Get out of here. You're Terry Bozzio. You kidding me?
Uh,
He's just such a beautiful man,
yeah.
you know."
Yeah. He is
And I just saw
humble.
some like on 1982 Us Festival, something on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I've seen that.
Here's that thing he did, and I forgot the
Walking in
name of it.
LA,
Yeah.
where does that polyrhythm break?
Oh, ridiculous,
Yeah.
ridiculous, ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm proud to say I had these first,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, but man, what he was doing with them, I definitely stole in those days. I mean, I did a lot of that stuff back in the day till I had two surgeries on my rotator cuffs. When I was playing with Michael Schenk, I had this symbol like that, and I felt the pain go up my arm.
Oh
Put my
man.
arm down and was stuck there on stage, you know.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's
Carmine,
crazy stuff.
this has been so great, but I can't let you go yet because we have one more song we have to play, at least some
That's
of,
fine.
because
That's fine.
this is one that I think people might have heard this song. I don't know. It's possible. And I'm being sarcastic because this to
Okay.
me is like this is one that you helped write. You were a co-writer, and it's a it's a
I know
Rod
the
Stewart.
song.
You know the song I'm talking about,
Yeah.
and I think I just have to say kudos to you for doing what a lot of people. Well, I shouldn't make any assumptions here, but so often we hear about people that contribute to writing a song that don't get the credit, that don't get the
Mhm.
the credit, whether it's financially or just
Yeah,
and
that's
you
happened to me.
yeah, and I'm sure it has. So I just I kudos to
But you know
you.
what? Rod Stewart is a cool guy.
He seems like it.
He's a
Yeah.
nice, even today, he knows we're doing this Rod Stewart show. We're calling it Rod the Show, celebrating the music and legacy of Rod Stewart. Instead of like it's a Rod tribute. It's not a Rod tribute. I'm in it, and the sax player was about 14 years is in it. And we tell stories and we're making it like a musical,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a show. It's a show. So when I told him we're doing that, and he knows from the sax player, the sax player showed a picture of singer. If you could check it out, rodtheshow.com. Right? He
Okay.
looks like Rod. He sounds like Rod. So she sent him a picture and said, this is Rob, you know. He said, "Wow, he looks like me." Rod says, and he goes, he looks like he dresses like me. He dresses like him all the time. He lives it. This guy lives
Mm.
it." And and she said, "And he sounds like you." Right. So then I was always fighting with these agents that it's a tribute. I said, "It's beyond a tribute. This is not a tribute. And I'm attributing myself because all these songs we're doing, I helped produce, I helped play drums, helped write, went on the road, promoted, you know, that's, I'm not attributing myself. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we came up with a new name celebrating the music and legacy of Rod Stewart, Rod the Show. And Rod wrote me back. He said, wow, I'm honored.
That's great, man.
I didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
And he was freaking
Yeah.
Rod Stewart, I'm doing in October, I'm doing a bucket list thing for me. For me to play by myself with a symphony orchestra.
Wow.
And I'm going to be doing 5 Rod Stewart songs with them. And
What's that going to be?
it's in Colorado Springs Symphony
Okay.
Orchestra. And
Yeah.
the deal is they're doing the thing, it's called Knights. Knights meaning knighthood. Sir Rod, Sir Elton, Sir Paul. They're doing all the different nights, but I'm going to play with the orchestra 4, I think it's 4 or 5 Rod Stewart songs. Sexy and Hot Legs
Yeah. Yeah.
and
You're in my
Young
heart, man.
Turks. I wrote Young Turks. You
Yeah.
know what's funny about Young Turks? It's a drum machine.
Yes. Yeah.
You know why? That was the very first drum machine, full-on drum machine to be on a record. Not rap.
Yeah.
That's trying to sound like drums in the band. All I played on that was hi-hat and cymbals.
Right.
But
Right.
me and my friend Dwayne Hitchings wrote the whole track, and Rod wrote the song. So, and Sexy ended up being Rod Stewart's biggest song he ever had in his life. And I think that's unbelievable. So we're still friends.
That's
and
great, man.
he always answers. Look, he don't answer every minute, but when I sent him the AI version of Hot Legs,
Hot Legs.
sound
Yeah.
like Van Halen, he said, I love it. He says, I love it. He said, good luck with it. And I said, Rod, this is AI. But he's a good guy. I went to his 70th birthday party a few years ago, and I go when he comes down here. I go down there. We go. He lives. He has a house in South Florida. Sometimes I go see him. Not much. I think I went once or twice. But he's a good guy. Huh? Never screwed anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never screwed anybody. Not like some people we know.
Well, that says a lot too, and it's great that you guys.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, you still have a great friendship, and that says a lot about you too.
Yeah, it's funny because he emails back. He says, it was his birthday on January 10th. So I sent him an email, happy birthday. Check out this new Hot Legs. So he sends me back. He goes, oh, nice to hear from you, Carmine, me old timekeeper.
That's
He's
great.
got a great sense of humor,
Yeah, me old timekeeper. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a timekeeper. Hey, hold on, what time is it?
All right, we're gonna play some of this. This is
Okay.
the crown jewel. Here we go. Do you think I'm sexy?
It's got a good drum sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Great groove.
Yeah. This was done to a click.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. Paulino DaCosta was playing some percussion with us.
Yeah.
And I think he playing it. We wanted it to be like Missing You. That's what Rod wanted.
Yeah.
But Tom Dowd got a hold of it. It was on 124 track, and there's a second 24 track. Orchestras and chick singers and Tom Scott and David Foster played on it. I mean, it's before David was a big guy, he was a session guy.
Yeah. So is Tom Scott playing the sax solo in this?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Tom Scott. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I thought it was somebody
there's the guy on the internet that takes apart all the songs, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
He did Sexy, and I listened to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. That's a great bit of information. Thanks,
The
Carl.
bass part was tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite bass player, Tim Bogert, Tony Franklin, Blue Murder, and Phil Chen.
Yeah. Phil sounds great, man.
I played with Phil Chen before I joined Rod's band on Blow by Blow.
Oh, no kidding.
And I never got credit for it because we couldn't work it out. And I never got songwriting credit, and I never got paid for anything. But it was okay. I realized if I would have went out with that, I would have never been with Rod.
Yeah.
And Rod is a game changer. Rod was like Vanilla Fudge. in my career.
I think you're right. I mean, the fact that you ended up with Rod, you recorded this and many other songs, but this is such a great song for you to be proud of, to having
Passion, You're in My Heart. I did all the harmonies. I did vocals on that song. I told you to listen to Attractive Female Harmony. I did all the background harmony arrangements,
yeah.
But I couldn't believe it. I remember when this went to #1, we were in Australia, and me and Rod bought the whole band and crew dinner. It was $1,500, my share.
Wow.
Said, it's okay, you'll make it back.
And I have to think you did, so that's great.
Yeah. And we had fun, He'd say, he'd get in a limo with me and go, "Oh, it's a drag being a legend." Sitting around. I go, "Yeah, I know what you mean." Saxon 5, he goes, "You're the only one that could say that." I said, "That's right." But we were good friends.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah. That's so great. There's a part coming up here. I made a note of it. This little breakdown part, the fill you do just ahead of it. It's 3 minutes, 15 seconds.
I know you mean, yeah.
Right here. Man.
That one, the one coming back in is the one I missed on the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I played,
The late Charlie Watts was a very good friend of mine. I loved him. I adored him. And, I know that people compare this to Miss You. And, like you said, Rod was looking for something like that. What I always loved about... I'm sorry, say that again, Carmine?
This was supposed to be Missing You. Or Miss You.
Yeah.
Originally, we had 3 guitars, bass, and drums, and keyboard on a 24, and it sounded really big rock.
Yeah.
And then as Tom put the orchestra and vocals and Tom Sound, this one, and David Foster and the synthesizer, everything shrunk, including the drum sound. The drum sound was humongous. It was killer. And we were all bitching about it, Tim. But then it went to #1 in 15 countries, so who could bitch,
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like with Blue Murder, we did it all on analog, and Bob Rock was mixing it on a Sony digital machine. Me and John Sykes went down there to tell him, we don't want that because it sounds good now. But man, you should have heard it on analog. It sounds ridiculous. So we went in there going, marched in like real powerful. We don't want this mixed on digital. We want it mixed on analog. So Bob Rock turned around and said, "Get the fuck out of here. I won't mix it at all." Me and John turned around and walked out. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But it came out fantastic. I mean, what a great Blue Murder. That Blue Murder. Even the second Blue Murder record is really good too. But it didn't do what it was supposed to do, But it's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say
I have a lot of those records.
I was going to say you got a lot to hang your hat on, Carmine. I know what you're saying, but you certainly got a lot to hang your hat on. And on that note,
it's fine. It's fine. I have a beautiful house here. I got a studio. I live in Florida. I got a canal and a lake behind me. We own a place in St. Martin. So I'm not doing too bad. I'm happy. Right. I'm a happy guy. I even wrote Christian songs.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
I became a Christian. I almost died one time, and I was on the road with my brother, and I had this massive nosebleed in Europe, and I couldn't get back. I ended up being dropped off in the Azores in the middle of nowhere. It took me a week to get home, and I thought I died. I woke up in a room that was black. I thought I died. Obviously, I didn't, but I think I got saved that day, and I came home, and I started going to Christian church and listening to the stuff, and I ended up writing 3 really good Christian songs and with killer drum parts. All the Christian music is really good. All the grooves, I don't know if you're a Christian or ever gone to, all the grooves like boom, 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 boom. They're all like that on tom-toms and stuff. So I wrote these 3 Christian songs, and I did it in the studio here.
That's great.
Before you go, I want to tell you how I record now, okay?
Yeah.
Like this Cactus album, the new one and the last one. I start out with a click track on what tempo I want. And then I would sing song. Like if it's Evil, like Evil,
Yeah.
if you know Evil, it goes bam, bam, 3, 4, bam, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, 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 ba, ba, di, 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 ding, di, di, right? So I would sing the whole arrangement to a click. I always like the riff. And
Yeah.
then I would
Yeah.
do a vocal above that. And I have a 61 Fender Precision bass. I play a little of everything. And lately I've been plugging it in and I play a little bass with that. And then I play drums.
No. So the drums come on after the vocal,
Drums come on, after my vocal.
after your vocal.
In
Yeah.
other words, and then I'd send that track to my guitar player, like in Cactus, and he would play to it properly and put a
Yeah.
bass on it. I'd send it to my singer, and he put a vocal on it, and now we got the demo.
Gotcha.
We
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
it, and we send it to Ted Nugent, or we send it to Dee Schneider,
Yeah.
or send it to Joe Bonamassa, And that's how
Yeah.
I record now. But
Yeah.
you never know it. If you heard it, it sounds like we're all in the same room.
Amazing. Yeah.
It is amazing, And I engineer it myself.
That's
you know.
great, man.
My brother Vinny, been recording in his house for longer than me. And when I moved to Florida, I had a guest house. I said the guest house is going to be the studio, So like my drums are in there behind me. That's the living room. It's where I am now. It's like the kitchen and breakfast area. So my room mics are right next to me. Right. And I got a hallway. I got a mic in the hallway as well, And then
What a sound of it.
he set up the system, right? He set up my system. He tested it in LA and then shipped it to me. And I set it up in here. Right. And then over the FaceTime and stuff, he showed me how to work it. And little by little, and I've been doing it now for 4 years, and maybe more. And I learned how to engineer, and I do some bass. I can do some basic guitar. I just did Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult was in here doing some guitar, and I can do some keyboard. I can do some vocal. I can take my iPad and record the B3 off of the iPad into my system, and I play a little something on the B3, And I learned how to do all that myself, which is great. I can punch stuff in and out. The drums never leave. The same drums, Cactus bass drums, Carmine D drums, Candy Apple Red D drums, Purple Leopard snare drum, Purple Leopard slingle and snare drum, Radio King. And the cymbals, I got them all taped up so they don't ring too much. Everything's like perfect. I got a green screen that goes around, and I do the drums on a green screen, for the videos. I do everything in it.
Oh, you got it figured out. Yeah.
Fantastic. I got a kid across the street that went to audio video college. He comes in, set it up, the green screen, his lights, and we do videos here. The bigger ones, we're going to, and I have a 4-car garage, move the cars out, put the green screen in there. I did a harmonica player in there. If you get a chance, write this down too. I'm giving you good stuff that you don't know about. It's a song called Drum City, Carmine Appice and Fernando Perdomo.
Okay.
Drum City. So I do artwork too, I'm
going to check it out. Yeah.
I got some artwork on the walls. It's like a city made of drums, You can't see it, but it's so we use the whole thing as the background of the video. It's pretty amazing.
Is there a website for that? You have a dedicated website for that, Carmine?
You can go to carminemerch.com and you can see some of the artwork on there.
Okay, because I'll put all these links.
If you watch that video,
yeah,
it's instrumental, but it's really cool.
Okay, I'll put that link in here too. Yeah.
So anyway, all right,
man. Thank you so much.
You need more.
We got. Well, this could never be enough with you, but
let's do it again. Let's do it again.
We'll do it again another time. Yeah, this has been so great, so fun. I want to thank you. I know I said we wouldn't take this much time. Well, I'm going to just thank everybody for watching today. Big hint for the legendary Carmine Appice. Thank you, Carmine. Hang with me 1 second. I'll end the stream.
Okay.
And thanks again. This has been great. Big hand, everybody. All right, that's my show. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave me a comment, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also download the episodes on all podcast platforms. And please visit my website, livefrommydrumroom.com, for upcoming shows and information on purchasing Live from My Drum Room t-shirts and hoodies. 100% of the proceeds go toward a scholarship I've created with the Percussive Arts Society. The link is also in the show notes. And you can contact me through my website or at livefrommydrumroom@gmail.com. And remember, no drummers are harmed on any show. And drummers, when in doubt, leave it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you again real soon.